Hello everyone, we're going to do a tutorial today on crystals. As you can see, the reason why I brought you to Pinterest to look at crystals is because I wanted to talk about how to bring a crystalline quality to your art and your illustration. It's in a lot of art nowadays, and it's something that honestly is mostly done through looking at reference and drawing and practicing and testing. But I'm going to talk a little bit about it and how to kind of get you from point A to point B, because I feel like there is a pretty big gap between this and then like kind of putting these shapes and images on something more human. So let's go to Photoshop here. Let's ignore Pinterest. So I think first of all, something kind of big is you do have to start with a design that's already got kind of like a crystalline structure to it. So this is kind of my base drawing, and I've used a lot of really straight angular lines, kind of like a little, think of like a Cartoon Network-ish style, if that makes sense, where there's a lot of sharp edges, and that's going to help really push that facet quality. To start is to think about things to edit in order to make this easier for you. And so what we're going to edit out, and this is important, whenever you start any art piece, you want to think about what you're editing. Otherwise, you're just going to draw anything, you know what I mean? And so for me, when figure, all sharps, well, all sharp edges. So as you can see, we're already getting pretty sharp. There's some round, but not really, because we know we're going to put in a bunch of triangles later. I'm going to keep it to around 3 colors. And what I mean by colors isn't exactly 3, but I'm going to choose 3 shades, well, colors, and then I can do shades in between of those colors. And so I can decide right now, like this is Little Red Riding Hood. That's what I decided. She has little wolf features. So I could do like a red, and then I could do purple, and then those are my colors with one accent, which would probably be, I don't know, blue or something. We'll do kind of flat shades. And this is good to figure out before you start, because otherwise you're going to go into your ink box like, I have this many brushes. You know what I mean? And then I have this many more brushes, all like, I think I have like 400 to 500 brushes and things like that. So you do have to edit things in the beginning, or you're not going to know where to go. So I'm going to start drawing and painting. First thing I'm going to do is get those colors in, get that, just kind of get that composition in as far as like the grayscale. Some people start with a grayscale and they paint on top of it. I want this to be very colorful, so I'm gonna forego that. And yeah, I'm just gonna start on the colors, plopping it on, putting on that multiply, and then just really focusing on that good color. Alright, so I thought maybe I should explain a little bit of what I'm doing right now, because this might look kind of like a blue blobby mess. Is I've put this on just a normal Photoshop brush. It's soft pressure, opacity, and flow. It's standard. I turn the hardness up, the size up, and I'm zooming way out. So then I can kind of decide the path that these colors are going to take. I'm also thinking about the darkness and lightness of them. And this is also done in RGB. Right up here, which is how I get this bright red. I don't really think, the thing about doing RGB is that it won't sell the same color once you've printed it. Like, it won't look the same, especially when these really bright reds, like bright neons, unless you get a very special printer, so be aware of that. But it's okay, because you can still get a pretty cool red without having to do that. And as I'm doing this, now I can go into shades involved in this red, and we're still in red. But since she is Red Riding Hood, I want her to be having a lot of red going on. I really like this bright red. I almost want it to be the shade that pops, but I want to get the eye to move up and then just like get trapped. I want your eye to get trapped inside of here. is a little bit trial and error, but it's also just bearing in mind that like these will be pretty subtle. The structures that are outside of our main focus, so that way we don't lose what this painting is about. It's about this chick. So even though I'm bringing these purples in down here, I'm making sure to kind of like cut them up so that later I can turn them into triangles and all that. And this is a basket, so it's okay if it's a little bit different. And we have things like fruit, like this is going to be just oranges, apples type things right in there. Probably won't be a need for it to be that small. As you can see, I've got things that kind of bring the eye down and around. Cool. It looks great. But I kind of need like some contrast going on. This is that purple color. I'm actually going to bring it over from here so I know it's exactly the right one. I can bring in a darker purple color. Because it's better to create a big swatch than a little swatch of lighter darkness, because you don't want to have orphaned patches, which is what can happen with a painting like this, where you're planning already to kind of make a mess and interrupt the patterns with these really crystalline structures. So I'm going to climb in here. I'm going to start defining stuff with these types of, I'm still using a really big brush, by the way. It's smaller, it's about 45, but like a lot of people when they go digital, they use brushes that are just like so little, and we're not going to do that, like at all. And what I'm thinking about now is like, where is the turn of the face? Where does it happen? Where would light fall? And so right here on the chin, we'd have a turn. Right up here, we'd have a turn. We'd also have some where this hair lies. And what should I do with her hair? So right now I'm just making it the highlight color. It's this really bright blue. It looks pretty neat. I will have to kind of put it everywhere. I'm thinking of what are the shapes that you get from crystals, from reflections and things like that. Very glossy type of ways that the light would fall. I feel like it's important to remember that like you decide ultimately where you want these reflections to go. If you're having a really hard time mapping them out, there is something you can do. I'm going to show you really fast. We're going to go back on Pinterest. We're going to look at some gemstones here. And as you can see, they're beautiful, they're lovely, they're very complicated. These types of looks and shapes. There's opals, there's geodes, there's this type of thing going on. We're going to grab this. We're going to copy the image. And so this is in fact copying an image and pasting it, but I'll show you what we'll do in a second. We're going to just do a screen layer, and what we get is ideas of what we can do. Not copy what's there, because I still have to redraw it. Only if it's like a very textured piece can I just really just outright draw something like that. But I'm going to kind of look at things like I really like how there's this little patch right here. And like really just get in there and learn. We're not copying, we're learning. And this will be deleted, so if it's not perfectly what you see, that just means you learned a little bit better. So let's delete that because it isn't exactly following the path of this little ringlet here anyway. So hopefully this will kind of put some method to my madness and explain a little bit that I'm not just tracing out where these ringlets occur. I'm thinking about how the reflections would be and kind of like how the structure is built. Where does it turn? Type of thing. I'm not just outlining in this step. In fact, we have this outline underneath, but you'll notice I haven't really worked on the line work at all because I feel like if I do, I run this risk of then relying on it and getting attached to it, and I don't want to because I'm probably going to change it. I might not even have line work in the final piece. It's not necessary. Some people do line work at the beginning, some do it in the end, and I'm someone, every time I've tried to do line work at the beginning, it just doesn't look great. It doesn't look great, and so that's why I do it that way. I just want to kind of bring that reflection into the eyes, not because it's done a lot, but because I know that it's very glossy. So the eyes would reflect all of the light around it, every color, in this case, because I want it to be super, super crystalline. Make the pupils whatever. I've learned through looking at a lot of different artists, especially fine artists actually, that don't really have to worry about pupils so much. It used to be a thing I'd worry about. And as you can see, I'm bringing an outline and it is not black because I don't feel like it. I might put it in black in other places, but I'll figure it out. When it comes to mouths, I've drawn a lot of mouths, and that's part of why I don't need to look at a reference right now. If you've never drawn a mouth, this is all new to you. Like, it's okay to look at reference. Some artists say not to, because I don't think they remember. I don't think they remember how they started. It's really important to do. So it's okay to take bold steps. Remember, you can erase anything that you've made. I think a lot of this is also just kind of learning how you also think about shape and what you value in a shape and what you value in a character design, because we all look at different things. We really do. For instance, and it depends on our influence as well. So no one is going to do this the same exact ways. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And that's fine. And it's a good thing. Like no one's copyrighted this style by any means. Nowadays it's kind of like a rite of passage thing, honestly. Everyone does it a little bit and has fun with it. It's a very fun, interesting, cool style. And I could always turn this back on to get an idea. I might want to put it on normal. So I can be reminded, like, you know, it doesn't really hang out near the edge, it hangs out near the middle, for instance. So I might say, alright, then I won't use that dark red out there. I'll use it more just in the center. I'm not going to do every single part of the ringlet because I want my brain to fill in a little bit for me. I want to make a new file. I'm just going to crop this to be about 2 inches by 2 inches. Well, it does not do perfect. We're going to make a triangle. So now let's make this into a brush. So here's where it sits. We're going to go into our brush settings over here, and we're going to space her out. We're going to add on some dynamics, the angle, the roundness, and the size. Don't want it to be too small. Make this size much bigger. And voila, we have a randomizer for our triangle. So we're going to change the scattering. So now it's more randomized. You turn that down if you want it to be in just one place. So we're going to grab this blue. We're going to start going to work. And so what this is doing is it's just, you can also just kind of tap if you want randomized triangles. And we do need to spread this blue around. I'm going to start erasing things I don't like. So I know I need this blue around, but I still don't necessarily need it in the sky yet. I just know I need it here in her dress. But this randomizer makes it so that I can go in there and decide, well, this is an apple, and that looks good. You can just kind of look at edges and be like, oh, this does fit in right here. You can kind of take these randomized spots and make it into something kind of neat. That's the angle of her hand. That's still there. This is dress. So that way it feels a little bit more natural. And you can also do overlay, which is kind of fun when you use these different styles. I'm kind of feeling linear light. All right. So I'm making some fruit. This will be like an orangey, apple-y thing. It only matters that it's like somewhat recognizable. And I'm just worried about getting that crystalline structure in. Got more fruit up there. All these lines are no big deal at all. Remember, I can make any of these go away. So I'm fine with how messy it appears right now, because I know that all my color looks like that actually in the end, which doesn't look nearly as bad. I feel like she needs more of like a smile line. Not big enough. That's better. And remember, like, a lot of this is just design. It's not really about knowing exactly where to place these triangles. It's designing it so that it still feels right, because at this point now, this is entirely me just making up stuff. And just by going by design. And I'm not exactly doing triangles too, I'm doing different shapes as well. So I'm thinking her dress must be somewhat shiny and reflective. And it does make her dress look a lot more shiny and reflective. I'm thinking about things like here. This would be a turning point under the bodice area. I'm thinking about down here about how, while I did have this darker, I now want it lighter so that the hand looks a little bit more like what I want it to look like. There we go, we have a real Red Riding Hood. And there's still stuff that I want to change and fix, but we have right now a pretty good illustration. And you could stop here if you wanted to. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add some more details because this type of style of illustration is well known for having a lot of refraction, a lot of little tiny triangles basically everywhere. And so we're going to save it. This file is somewhat large. It's 24 megabytes, not too big. So we're going to get back to our triangle brush, which is gone because my computer crashed. So one sec. So we're adding just polka dots of triangles, honestly. And then up here in the sky, I'm going to take that triangle brush, I'm going to make it very big. And I'm going to make a I'm going to play with overlay and layering. Like this is soft light. That looks pretty good. For the eraser, let's move this guy out. Yeah, I need to go over the good work we did on the face. We can bring those facets in a big way, like that. Ooh. Once you do a soft light, there's a different type of layered condensing to do that. We can do stuff like this. And then bring down the opacity. Like subtract looks pretty cool. Oh, what? Sometimes you get ones that look really neat, like hard mix here. The problem is hard mix is, it changes the way that the, you know, as you can see, the lights work, and I didn't make it exactly a flat color, and that's why it looks kind of weird like that. Now vivid light looks real neat, so I think I'm going to keep vivid light. And so this is more of how I approach it. There's a lot of different ways to do this. But I think having just a general understanding of the whole design that you're looking for kind of helps in making this work, as well as just kind of taking a risk, maybe doing some shapes that you feel a little bit wary of, and then being cool with it. Being like, I'm gonna try it. Because a lot of this is just throwing it into the wind, putting a bunch of triangles all over the place, or maybe they don't go. But you play with that abstraction until it feels right. You could, of course, take a color you like and make some more. This is with a higher opacity. Hopefully this was a fun little project to watch. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm not ever doing this, that's okay. Hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to do. But for now, I think we're good. Hopefully this answers some questions if this was something that you were wondering about. Feel free to ask me any questions about it if you're just like, I do not get what she did to make that happen. But I think that's all for now. I think this looks good. I'm going to keep it as is. I don't really feel like doing too many outlines or details. I don't really like doing those. Because again, it's just extra work. And it already looks pretty cool and I don't want to give it too much drawing. I kind of just leave it as is, even though these ears don't necessarily look like ears. They still look kind of neat. So I'm going to leave them. I could have easily done this without ears and it still would have been a nice piece. But yeah, thanks for watching.